Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we'll be talking about the Batman's performance in China, which is not doing as well as originally projected because apparently COVID is still a thing in China with a supposed massive spike, leading to massive closures of much of the theaters over there, which just really continues the narrative that I have been saying for a long time, which is even if the theaters in China were at full force, China is fool's gold when it comes to film release in China. And I'll go into that a little bit today. If you've watched my videos before, you know my thoughts about the Chinese Communist Party, and you know my thoughts about Hollywood releasing their films in China. But we'll talk about the Batman, what this means for the Batman's long-term box office forecasting, and also apparently the Oscars are this Sunday. And yeah, it's kind of insane to think that the Oscars are this Sunday, which means, more importantly, that the Wednesday Raven Awards are going to be this Sunday. It's our Oscars boycott, where you, the people of Asgard, get to choose what the best and worst of film in 2021 will be, as we boycott the telecast of the Oscars, even though, obviously, not doing nearly the numbers that the Oscars are doing. However, the Oscars not really doing that much for numbers these days anyway, but we like to have a good time, and it's just a good time to kick back and enjoy some of the best and the worst of last year's in film. So all of this we'll be talking about today. Before going any further, though, please make sure you smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification turned on. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. So as you can see, of course, we have this news story, which we'd covered already, about how the Batman has swooped into over $600 million worldwide, as it says here, despite tough break in China. So this number, or rather this headline, is the one that is a bit new as far as, from the last time I checked Deadline's coverage of this. And what they have to say about it is Gotham's vigilante hero is eyeing an ultimate worldwide north of $750 million. Now, just for a frame of reference, if we look to my own box office tracking, that would put the film just about where I suspect it to be. So minimum projection of $665 million is what my current projections have it at, with a maximum of $931. But that maximum was going to be really reliant on a heavy, strong release in China, which we can now confirm is not happening, meaning that we're going to find a number somewhere between 665 and 798. Either way, the film is already making money and it's already making profit, so that's all that Warner Brothers is going to care about. But I think that in the grand scheme of things, one does kind of have a hope and does kind of have a care about how this plays out and how this compares to previous films, not only in the franchise, but also just in the lexicon of Warner Brothers releases. Now, this is by far the most successful Warner Brothers release in the last couple of years, especially after the dismal HBO Max day and date release model and the massive financial losses that the studio felt because of how much money they put into those movies. Granted, they probably made money and kept money as far as an entire company as Warner Brothers through the HBO Max subscriptions, but from the movie's perspective, them not making their money back from those individual films definitely could not have been a good thing. But as it goes on here, it says that the $750 million is going to be without a significant boost from China, where the Batman bowed this weekend. The opening here took the number one slot, making roughly here only $12.1 million. That's a pretty abysmal opening. It goes on to say this is the best PRC opening. People's Republic of China is what they're trying to say there. No, Communist China. It should be say the best CCP opening for Hollywood in 2022, but is not a number that incites excitement. However, as we noted since last Sunday and beyond, the launch was expected to be inauspicious amid a COVID spike. COVID's still around over there, apparently. That has increasingly hit the market. Approximately 43% of cinemas are now temporarily closed. So with almost half the theaters closed, that is the excuse that they're using. But let's just assume that those theaters were open. What does that mean? Does that mean that the number goes up to $24 million? That's still not all that impressive when everything is said and done, and still would not have been enough to push this film to the stratosphere in China. But another important point, of course, needs to be made, and we need to be reminded of that $12.1 million, 75% of that is going to the CCP, is going to the Chinese Communist Party, which means that that is money that can go to fund things like the concentration camps with the Uyghur Muslim population, amongst other minorities in their country, because there are human rights violations going on in that country every single day, and have been for decades now. And yet, what are we doing? We're putting films out in that country, whereas in Russia, where we're hitting the people more so than the government and the oligarchs, we're taking films away from them. That's taking a moral stand. But having our films come out in China, we're just ignore the man behind the curtain, as the one would say. But it is, I think, again, another indication about why the Chinese release is fool's gold, because even if this film was $100 million, they'd only get 25 million of that. And I think that Hollywood really needs to start thinking about, is it really worth putting their films out in a country where they get very little return on their investment, even though it might make their worldwide totals look a lot bigger, all for them to continue to perpetuate and continue to fund these human rights violations in China. I think that this speaks more to the studios than anyone else, and it speaks to the lack of moral fortitude and the lack of any morality whatsoever of the studios, because remember, they're the ones that have lots of money. They're the ones that have the actual ability to say no and to put their foot down and to not be hurt by this, and to not, basically they have options. They have the ability to do this. It's harder for a regular everyday person to have the same type of mentality to completely boycott a country, because people fail to recognize just how many things come from, in this case, China. For instance, if you have a cell phone, part of that came from China. It's very hard, as I mentioned before, to find any piece of technology that has not done that. But when you're a movie studio and your choice is, do I release my film in China or not? It's a lot easier of a choice, and it's a lot more doable of a choice. But as we've said constantly, these studios have absolutely no backbone. And one of the best examples of how they have no backbone is just simply every time and every year they have the Oscar ceremony. So as you can see, breaking news, the Oscars are courting Beyonce to grace the stage Sunday. Oh yeah, Beyonce. That's going to help your fledgling numbers there. Hyper political and knucklehead Beyonce. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to help out a lot. Apparently, it says here, Deadline is hearing from organizers that Beyonce is going to be a part of the award show, as she is nominated for Best Original Song for Be Alive. The theme for King Richard was written by Dixon and Beyonce. So again, I haven't seen King Richard yet, so I don't really care that much about it. Of course, they have all these musical performances, and really, over the years especially, these musical performances, and really the musical, the best song in a film category has always been, for me, a joke, because most of the films, most of the nominations that come from the best song category are songs that are featured in the trailer. They're songs that are not even featured in the movie most of the time. And to me, that is the very antithesis of what a award show for movies is supposed to be. You know, it's one thing if it's a song that's within the movie itself. It's one thing if it's a song that's literally one of the themes of the song, themes of the movie, as this scene seems to be. But most of the films really are ones where you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that this song existed in the film. You're like, oh, that's right, because it was in the credits. I don't see how that helps bolster the film. If you're a credits song, you're not doing anything for the film itself. I just don't quite get that. It's a category that does not make any sense to me at all. But the Oscars also don't make much sense to me at all either, which is why I'm going to go ahead and plug the Wednesday Raven Awards. And so if you are tired of elitism in Hollywood, if you are tired of things like, oh man, we're going to have Beyonce, it's going to be amazing, as well as having people like Amy Schumer as one of your hosts, yes, everyone I'm sure wants to see Amy Schumer and Regina King, and I forget the third woman that they have there for hosting the Oscars, but I'm sure no one cares about the Oscars at all. So anyway, it says here, voting closes tomorrow, 5 p.m. The Oscars and the Academy winners will be announced coming up this Sunday. And so that is going to be when our Wednesday Raven Awards are going to be. So the same time this goes live, that's when we will go live. We won't go for as long. That's one of the things that makes us better than the Oscars. But if you do want to vote for the best and the worst of the year 2021 in film, you can go check out my website, ombReviews.com. And if you hover over the Wednesday Raven Awards and you go down to Wednesday Raven Awards for 2021, it'll bring you this page, which will allow you to open up a Google form. And when you open up that Google form, you will see the option to vote. And I'll just walk through this a little bit right now. As you can see, you can rank your films from best to worst, meaning Only one film can get one of these numbers. So if Nobody is your favorite film, that gets a number 1. If you try to put your number 1 for Dune, it'll say, oh, you can't do that because only one number per film. Essentially, you need to be able to rank the films 1 through 8. So what is your favorite movie? You put at number 1. What is your least favorite movie? You put at number 8. I'm not saying that this is my ballot, but it's not that far off. So anyway, it's going to be based off of not how many films or how many number 1 votes a film gets, but how well liked a film is in general. So that's why not just the first place votes count, but also those second and third place votes really count as well, as it's again going over. Basically, it's a weighted score that will determine the winner of this category. All the other ones are based on popular votes. Things like the Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Johnson Award for Excellence in Crap World Building, which is essentially another word for the worst film of 2021. We have a Lifetime Achievement Award as well. We also have Best Story in Film, Best Low Budget Film. We have a category about being the best remake, reboot, sequel, right? So anything that's based off of previous film material. There's good ones, there's bad ones, right? We have underrated films, overrated films, critically acclaimed piece of garbage, shill of the year, one of my favorite categories. We also have breakthrough performance of the year, best action fight sequence, because we care about stunt people here on the channel. Best director, of course, SJW screenwriters, cinematography, best visual effects, NPC of the year, very coveted award, NPC of the year, animation film, best stunt work, and one of my favorite categories as well, best one-liner or quote, movie and line from a film. So again, this is just the favorites that people submitted. So where did these nominations come from? These actually came from you. If you missed out on that, pay attention for next year, because I put out a ballot saying, hey, nominate anything you want for these categories. I take the ones that get the most votes, and that's what creates this ballot. So if you have not filled out your ballot yet, again, go to the Wednesday Raven Awards. If you just want to take a look at the nominees, there is this document here that lets you just look at the nominees, and then you can click on this link right here to bring you to the Google form. Don't worry, it will not collect your email address. I do not have it set to that. You can edit your ballot after the fact as well. However, I think if you want the editing feature to be on, I think you have to have an email address attached with it. I'm not sure about that, but if you are sure what you want to vote for, you can do that. There is also an abstain category, meaning let's say you're like, hey, I honestly have no idea which one I want to vote for. There's just a couple of categories that I know for sure that I have an answer for. Hey, you can do that. You do have to vote in every category, but I do give an abstain option for those that do not have a choice in the matter. So anyway, make sure you get those votes in. So what are y'all's thoughts? Are you excited for the Wednesday Raven Awards? Are you one of those few that are actually excited for the Oscars? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And also for the Batman, what do you think the final number is going to be, especially with this news coming out of China? With the film just not doing nearly as well as many had expected it to do, even amidst the massive closures of theaters over there. Let me know that as well in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, light up that fire button over on Odyssey. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my March Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members. Starting off first with my Patreon members, animation commentator Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Fuzz Aldrin, Garrett Searles, Hannibal Grimm, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymason, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Chat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Rosetta Allen, Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and of course Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Also a shout out to my Subscribe Star members, starting off with Trent Johnson, Matt 317, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, Storm Tracker, The R, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stan 4, John B, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK Man, and a final shout out to my locals members, Kara Tharp, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, and Robert Barnes.
And lastly, a huge shout out to my newest locals member, Brett D90. Thanks, man.
Thank you all so very much for being supporters, monthly supporters of the channel. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every single live stream and every single video, please check out the pinned, the very top link in the video description. It is noted as the Willow link there. It'll bring you to basically a link tree of all the different places that you can support on Patreon, Subscribestar, or on Locals. And also there are other tiers that you can get access to as well, including an Army of Asgard level where you get not only the shout out, but you also get access to a giveaways channel that I have on my Discord, where you get offers of giveaways, or rather you get access to giveaways of 4K titles, Blu-rays, digital codes, all kinds of stuff, steelbooks. It's just, I'm giving away stuff all the time over there, and it's a lot of fun as well. So go check that out if you're interested. There's also the Keeper of the Bifrost level, which is the higher level up than that, and you get everything from the previous tiers. Plus, you get access to a once or twice a month podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where you get to ask us Q&A, right? You get to ask us questions, any question that you like, movie or non-movie related. We will answer them once, maybe twice a month. We're trying to work on a second opportunity for us to have a show, but right now it's at least once a month. So again, you get access with that with the Keep of the Bifrost level. And then there is the Chosen of Valhalla level, the very premium level, where you get access to all of those things. Plus, you get to be featured on the channel once a month with me and the other Chosen members, where we talk about movies and stuff. Anything really that the Chosen want to talk about. And it's always a very fun discussion. We usually have about 3.5 hour discussion. So again, that's what you get access to at the Chosen of Valhalla level. Also, you get a free t-shirt during your first month. All you need to do is just let me know what t-shirt you want from the store, and also their size, location, etc. And I send those out anywhere in the world. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you all so very much again for your love and for your support. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, God bless.